Nano is over, and for this specific podcast, 2021 is over. So we're going to talk about all that stuff on I Should Be Writing, number 82, season 17.
Well, I should be writing. I should be working on my craft. I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft. But I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.
Hi there. Welcome to I Should Be Writing. This is the podcast for wannabe fiction writers, and I'm your host, Mer Lafferty. We've been going since 2005. We've been started before I ever sold a story at all, and been podcasting and writing since then, and things have improved. And so this podcast is here to help you with your creative career get started. Some people are saying I kind of got a little bit of negging, I think, when somebody was saying that he didn't use the word wannabe on his podcast. And I'm like, it's not poser. Amateur sounds, for some reason, too official. Like if you're an amateur, there's the thinking that you must go through the training to get to be, or apprentice, or I don't know. It just didn't seem right. Wannabes are people who have dreams. Whether you chase them or not is on you. So, if you want to write fiction, I'm here to help you do it. See, the thing was, here's what happened. Back in 2013, I think, it was for wannabes by a wannabe. And then my audience told me I couldn't call myself a wannabe anymore because I was starting to get traditionally published. So now there's only one of those words starting out, and I guess that's why it sounds a little more derogatory. So I don't know. If any of you feel slighted by that, let me know. I am curious. For those of you listening later, I have much apologies because I've been falling behind on the podcast and posting the podcast, and I didn't even get a November 30th podcast out, which makes me very sad. But November held, among other things, a case of the shingles for me and a really bad vaccine reaction. But as I said earlier in the stream, I think of it like a tattoo. It sucks getting it, but I'm very grateful for the result, and I'd do it again. Not anytime soon. But yeah, I want to whine because that's what people do when they're sick. On the other hand, I don't want to scare anybody else off from getting the vaccine. So that's why I'm just saying it might affect you. It might not. You might not feel anything. You don't know. I didn't react to the first two, and I did react to my booster. So, don't let what I'm saying stop you, but be aware you might need some time to sit and watch a marathon of Agatha Christie stories. You don't know. It is specifically Agatha Christie stories because it's connected to the virus or the vaccine. Is there a test? When do we go from being wannabe to just a bee? Is there a test? Preemie. No. If there is a test, you've already taken it and you won. You won the test, preemie. Where is it? I was going to be clever and hold up preemie's other book. Because it's downstairs. Ugh. Sorry. I got a lot of books the other day from my friendly local store. And preemie's book was among them. I'm very excited. It's got feral pigs in it. So yeah, I'm not going to say what I've been working on because I've been whining for about 5 minutes. You know what I've been working on. Actually, I did start a story today just because I wanted to. I've been threatening to write a gay rom-com, gay Christmas rom-com, and I hesitate a little bit because it's out of my lane, and it's not like I set out to do it. It's one of those things where I thought, wouldn't it be funny if X happened and then Y happened, and then like my male protagonist ending up with a dude was the logical progression of the story I was wanting to tell. So I've been like just having that in the back of my head for several years now. So I started that today, and that was fun. But that's about all, and some freelance work. That's what I've been working on, and my good news is I'm upright again. I feel pretty good. I'm really looking forward to December and taking some podcast time off and taking some writing time off, or writing for fun. I'm really looking forward to that. Oh, I got a blurb from the busiest woman in the world, which was just a thrill. So, Mary Robinette Kowal, former president of Science Fiction Writers of America, current head of WorldCon. I'm not exaggerating in the least to say that she wasn't running again. It's not like she officially stepped down and like left the office. She wasn't running again. So when it was time for the changeover to the new president, she stepped down and then immediately took over WorldCon, because they were having some leadership problems. As somebody with ADHD, this is just like, and then she learned how to speak Chinese while teaching horses how to fly. I mean, whatever this is magical. I'm aware that speaking Chinese and teaching magical horses how to fly are not the same thing. One of them is possible, and my metaphor kind of broke. So, yes, I'm very excited, Preemie. I was just, and then she took, where I was going with that is she took the time to read my book and blurb it for me, and it was very sweet. Tree Lobster's got a shiny new hardcover copy of my book. Looks great. Immediately found a typo in the text. You know, I think that's a rite of passage. Preemie and Kids Are Asleep, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Speaking of Mary Robinette, her first book, I think the first page was missing. The first page or first paragraph, something vital at the beginning of the book, either the first sentence, paragraph, or page, was gone. It just didn't get printed with it. It was the first sentence. Thank you, Daniel. So yeah, it's, stuff happens, man. That's just part of it. But yeah, that's my good news. WorldCon's in a couple of weeks. I'm leaving 2 weeks from tomorrow. Wow. And I just ordered dresses. More than one, because after a long time and in pandemic lockdown, I don't know what size I am. Weight hasn't changed. Shape probably has. Anyway, but if you guys have good news, I would love to hear it. We got Tree Lobsters with the new shiny hardcover with the rite of passage typo found. So congratulate yourself. You know, that's just like a check off the list. Next will be probably somewhere along the road you'll get a 1-star review. Also a rite of passage. If you ever feel bad about your reviews, just go pick a very popular book and read those 1-star reviews, because there will be one. Several. Unfortunately for Audible, they seem to rise to the top. Because you'll see a book with like 39,000 reviews on Audible. And 4.5 stars after those 30,000 reviews. And all the first reviews you read are, I don't know what everybody's talking about, this was crap, a lot. But yeah, if you ever read your reviews, which I don't recommend, but if you have tougher skin than me and want to read your reviews and you get sad, go read the reviews of, Gaiman, that lady in Scotland. Yeah. You could talk crap about 50 Shades of Grey and the Da Vinci Code, but they're not going to hear you because they've built walls up made of money. And they hide behind those walls, and they don't hear the bad reviews. They just hear more money being delivered in dump trucks. They're fine. Jason says, when my first book came out, they oversaturated the coloring on the cover. It looked like a spot in front. They had to go back and dim the coloring before too many copies came out. Well, I'm glad they figured it out before too many were printed. Dang. Money is good at drowning out negativity, indeed. Preemie says, my debut novel was printed without dedication and acknowledgments. Ouch. Wow. I didn't even notice it was spelled wrong, Preemie. I really don't care. But, yeah. Acknowledgments are hard. I should do an entire episode on acknowledgments, shouldn't I? I'm going to write that down. Anyway, if you guys have any more good news, let me know in the chat. If you hear this later and want to email me your good news, I would love to hear it. Also, we're in the middle of Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah to people. I said Happy Thanksgiving at the beginning and not Happy Hanukkah. I apologize. But Happy Hanukkah. Meerkat has a smidgen of good news. My nano project came out at 55K, the most I've ever put into one project, but I finished it. It has an ending, and now I can stick it away for an unknown length of time. That is definitely worth... There we go. Congratulations. I apologize for a bot. Yeah. And, for anybody else, we'll talk about nano in a moment, but... Underpope says, rejections continue to trickle in, and I have one accepted story should be published in late December, though I still haven't gotten the contract back from the publisher. Well, the contract's a good thing, but, congrats on the rejections coming in. If you're new to the show, I must tell you that we celebrate rejections here because rejections mean you're a working writer. It's a bad part of the job, but it's a part of the job. So when you're getting rejected, you're doing the work of a working writer. It's a big, big step. Because being able to take that, being able to accept the rejection and move on, is another big step in your writing career. Because if you can't make that step, you're not going to go very far. Alright, folks. KCD, Underpope, Shards. I don't want to say failure. Come on, guys. We're not going to say failure. We're not. We can't. We can't talk about failing NaNoWriMo. Because if you wrote, I'm calling it a win. No, you did not officially get to say you're a NaNoWriMo winner. And if you're the kind of person that buys the t-shirt and you're honest about it, no, you're not going to get a t-shirt. But November still made you write more than you would have otherwise, didn't it? I got 12,000 words into a new story. It was a good, that's a good hunk of words for me. But, Sybil Rose got about 15K, better than 0. Excellent. Shards made it further than you've ever gotten. Well done. Daniel, I didn't write 50K, but I'm not calling it a failure. I wrote 10K words I wouldn't have written otherwise and start of a novel I want to finish. For me and my ADHD, that's a win. That's a huge win. That is huge. Oh, my latest realization about ADHD. This was a big one. I'm the kind of person who will look at the clock and see I have 30 minutes before I have to leave. And then 30 minutes pass and I look at the clock and go, oh my God, I'm going to be late. And I realize my brain is thinking, not consciously, none of these are conscious thoughts. But my brain is looking at those 30 minutes as it's all 30 minutes. Didn't say that right. I have 30 minutes. After 5 minutes pass, my brain's still saying I got 30 minutes. Up to like 11:59, my brain's still like, I got 30 minutes. I don't need to hurry. And then suddenly it's noon and I'm late. And I didn't know if I was right about it, but I started paying attention to myself when I needed to be there, be somewhere or do something. And consciously thinking, okay, time is passing, has been helping. I set timers when I make coffee so I don't start it and then forget about it. I may do timers for work, not like a Pomodoro timer, but a timer as in whatever I'm doing, I probably should stop and switch to whatever needs to be done right now. Anyway, I am not a doctor. I am not an ADHD specialist. I'm just someone who was diagnosed as an adult. They haven't studied it very much in women, and I'm just trying to learn about it. Underpope got about 4K. I'm going to finish the story, which may not reach 50 by the end anyway. That's excellent. Cheryl had a glorious partial win, 26K, which is the most I've written a long time continuously. Cheryl, I know we haven't talked a whole lot recently, but I know you're somebody who's got a lot of responsibilities in your life, and if you were able to do that, that's 26. That's amazing. Well done. Roughly a dozen blackout poems. Well done, K. Kimmy. Okay, so it's called time blindness. I see. Numbers Ninja is the opposite. I know I can't estimate time properly, so I physically can't do anything an hour before I leave for something because I know I'll get sucked into it. Yeah, that happened this weekend, didn't it? As long as I don't look at the clock, I still have 30 minutes left. That's exactly it. Numbers Ninja, I think you might benefit from timers too. I don't know. Daniel, actually, I've heard that before. Ursula Vernon, a good friend of mine, has ADHD, and whenever we have lunch, she always gets there either early or on time, and I'm almost always a little bit late. And I'm just like, you have ADHD too. How do you do this? She's like, I've also got anxiety, and I have a huge fear of being late. And so that overrides the ADHD. So, great. Timers are the only way I can function. Interesting, Preemie. Inattentive type ADHD here. I was just diagnosed at the beginning of the year, yeah. I just get anxious that I will lose track of time, pace around until I end up leaving early. Yeah. Oh, but I do not trust the timer. I don't know what to say to that. I don't. I mean, the timer works outside your brain. It's not affected by the weird chemicals in your brain telling you weird stuff. It's just a timer. That's all it is. I set a 20-minute timer to sleep before class, and I end up waking up every 5 minutes to check that the timer is still going. You know, in that case, I would blame Apple. Get a better timer. I'd say get a kitchen timer, but those have so many... The rings are so bad, it's very jarring. You don't want to wake up to that. Okay. So, sorry to take us on the ADHD side story, tangent thing, but I just said I had ADHD, so what did you expect? I mean, I am breaking into our discussion here because I wanted to give a shout out to our sponsor, Scribophile. A lot of people ask me if I know a way they can start a writer's group or join a writer's group or what to look for in a writer's group or beta readers or whatever. And I work alone a lot, so I don't really have an answer for that. But then I found out about Scribophile, and it's exactly where people want to be. You can upload your stuff, you can get detailed critiques from other people, you can find beta readers, you can help other people out by giving them critiques. It's been endorsed by Writer's Digest and NaNoWriMo and Predators and Editors, and has made several lists of 100 best websites for writers. There is a free membership and a paid membership, and I recommend you check it out because it looks pretty sweet, even on the free level. But thank you for your sponsorship for Scribophile, and if you guys want to check them out, check out scribophile.com, and I'll have that in the show notes. We're talking about the end of Nano. I want to apologize to everybody listening now and later that I really was unable to keep up with anything this November. The daily podcast, sometimes the regularly scheduled podcasts, and wasn't able to keep up with my writing so I could be around and support you guys. And I want to apologize because that's what this podcast is for. Unfortunately, sometimes, other stuff happens and you gotta take care of yourself and your immediate things and hope that people are understanding, and everyone has been, and I appreciate that. But I just want to say one more time an official apology. Yeah, next year's got to be better. I got to do something different. I don't know. I want to know if anybody had anything different. Did anything different happen this year? Did you try something different and it worked? Were you forced to do something different because of your situation and it worked or didn't work? I'm curious. Yeah, that's true. Thank you. Sometimes there's too many balls in the air and you have to let some of them bounce so others won't break. Pretty much. I forget to do prep in October, so this is my first time writing without an outline. Turns out it is not for me. Oh, that's rough. I'm sorry. I've been off work due to bullying, so I had extra time to work on it. Nana was a good distraction. Dang. I'm so sorry, Meerkat. I'm glad you got a good distraction by Nano. Kids Are Asleep is a municipal liaison for her Nano region, and she was telling me what people usually do at the end of Nano to celebrate. And trope bingo seemed to be something that was a good idea. But I also want to talk about just the year in review. For one, I got 82 episodes. That's more than I've ever gotten in a year. Ever. Not at my most productive. And it's probably because of Twitch. It is because of Twitch. The fact that I have streams scheduled and I want to be here. Because there will be people saying, is Mer not streaming? What's going on? Because the few times I've missed it, yes, that's what people have done, and I'm sorry about that too. This year was the first time I tried traditional publishing. It was an experience. Yeah, Tree Lobsters, I'm sorry it wasn't a good one. Cheryl, I chose to write during breaks at work as well as at home, and to a detailed outline. I could see in my word count exactly where I ran out of outline. Wow. So you were just like super productive, and then like outline would run out, and then you're like, and then a battle happens. Okay, we got trope bingo. Okay. So I'm curious, the goal here is, since we only have one bingo card, and it's mine, we're just going to go through and just like raise your hand in the chat. You can, if you're a lurker and you don't want to talk, you can just throw an emote out or something. But I am curious, so Valerie told me about this trope bingo thing, and it's very funny. Let's see. So, first we're going to have found family, which I believe is probably a pretty standard thing. Shards, are you saying that you have the found family trope in yours? I wasn't sure. We will move on to Ancient Artifact. Everybody loves a good MacGuffin. And by everybody, I mean me. That Space Valkyrie, you're weak to found family tropes because it's a good trope. It's a really good trope. Ancient Artifact, yes, Ancient Artifact. Everybody loves a good MacGuffin. I love a good MacGuffin. I love several MacGuffins. I've thought about writing fanfic based on The Lost Room, which was a mostly good miniseries from a very long time ago now. It kind of did that, like, the story it built up was great. Now we have an attractive man and an attractive woman, they have to sleep together thing was pretty forced. They didn't have chemistry. There was no logical reason for these two to just fall into bed, except for it's episode 3. I love a good MacGuffin that's also a red herring. Indeed. McHerring. Well, if you say it's a McHerring, then you're just giving it away to people, aren't you? I think I had an ancient artifact for shards. Tree Lobsters did an alien artifact one. Excellent. These are great. Thank you. The kids are asleep. This is awesome. Chosen one. I think people are using this less and less. But it's still a popular one. I like the trope of main villain gets overshadowed by an even bigger villain and becomes a grudging ally of the protagonist. You mean Miyazaki movies, right? It happens in almost every single Miyazaki movie that I've seen. I haven't seen them all. Did Kiki's Delivery Service even have an antagonist? I don't think it did. Mostly seen in serialized television. Okay. Only one room / bed. I didn't realize this was a trope. I think it's a romance trope, or a trope used in a romantic, for a romantic side plot. But we have only one room, one bed. It forces intimacy even if you're not talking about sex. There's one where there's what is it? Crap. Boyfriend material. Yeah, the boyfriend material in the story, he's shares a bed with the guy who's pretending to be his boyfriend, and he starts breaking down because he's worried about his dad, and the other guy just holds him. There's no sex. It's just he holds him. So the major breakthrough, only one room or bed can be a major breakthrough with raising a relationship to the next level. Again, doesn't have to be sex. I did a story where the character was convinced they were the chosen one. I see. I would write only one bed if a mattress company wanted to sponsor an in-novel ad. Preemie, are you like thinking outside the box and getting sponsors for your work, or are you saying you hate that trope so much you wouldn't do it unless a mattress company paid you? Because I could take that either way. Next thing is a MacGuffin, which I guess Ancient Artifact is not the MacGuffin, but it is a MacGuffin. So makes you think. I would like a free mattress. That's what it all comes down to. Okay, Preemie. We'll hope for the free mattress. Trying to imagine the two MCs of Preemie's novel would get together in one bed willingly. The accuracy of it, though. Yes, instead of only one bed, it's only one brand name bed. They have excellent President's Day sales. Because you want the book to be evergreen content, so you can't say, this October is going to be a good time. Anyway. So, we've already talked about the Ancient Artifact, but now we're just down to a regular MacGuffin. Have I used that? I don't remember. Oh well. Wow, my brain is fried. November really broke my brain. The Underdog. We've got the Underdog. Who used an Underdog? We love the Underdog. Underdog is often the chosen one. A lot of these have crossover. We're going to be getting into fantasy, specific fantasy elements being like a parallel world. I guess that could also count a portal fantasy. And then we've got Disaster Siblings. I don't know if I've read many Disaster Siblings books. Did the Underdog who becomes the chosen one? Okay, Tree Lobsters. Love a good portal fantasy. Disaster Siblings tends to make me think of Vax and Vex from Critical Role. Okay. No spoilers. Speaking of Critical Role, I was agent siblings or agent buddies with oh god, I'm gonna butcher their name. Anyway, a person I hung out with at several cons, partly because we were friends and partly because we had the same agent, so we would go to the same meals sometimes, just got announced a Critical Role novel. So their first name's Marika, and I don't know if I can pronounce the last name, but I think it's Niekamp or Niekamp. I hate myself for saying it. I really do. So yeah, there's a Critical Role novel coming out, and I really, really respect the person who's writing it. So if you're a Critical Role fan, it's going to be good. I can promise you that. My MC is the Disaster Sibling. These are good tropes. Wow. I love portal fantasies, especially ones that examine the consequences of being away from your home for months. You know, Numbers Ninja, very few portal fantasies have beaten Gregor the Overlander for me. Gregor the Overlander is supposed to be middle grade, but it's a story about middle grade aged kids being put in very adult situations. And yeah, it surprised me the amount of violence in it. So I would not fully encourage you to give it to your younger kids if you don't think they can handle it. But I think she should have aged them up a little bit, because the Hunger Games did just fine with the teenagers, but the younger kids is just Yes, Numbers Engine, I do recommend the 5-book series Gregor the Overlander by Suzanne Collins, I think. I'm terrible at names, y'all. I'm so sorry. The woman who wrote the Hunger Games. Her first series was Gregor the Overlander. Revenge. Always good. Revenge is good because it often teaches you something. There's revenge in Matt's new book, Supervillain's Guide to Being a Fat Kid. Y'all, I really do recommend you give this to the kid in your life. It's so good. And Preemie's got revenge. Daniel's got revenge. Didn't get to the revenge part, Shards. Okay. Sean McGuire's story I can never remember the name of. Are you talking about the Wayward Children series? Survivor Guilt. Secret, semi-secret trope. What do we got? What's next? Deus Ex Machina. Now, I wonder how many people actually use this just to end their story at 50,000. I'm not sure. I've tried not to use it, but it seems unfair. Because after studying story and how it's put together and stuff, I read The Pit and the Pendulum by Edgar Allan Poe. And that story is so much a Deus Ex Machina. It's like, okay, you're so good at making us afraid of the constantly sweeping blade that we'll forgive you the fact that the ending is just like you're magically rescued by the cavalry, the literal cavalry. So well done, Edgar Allan Poe. Yes, he did write so many amazing things. I just don't think he stuck the landing on Pit and the Pendulum. Okay, gods run around messing up stuff. Does that count? I don't think that's Deus Ex Machina. I always figured Deus Ex Machina was everything got fixed by the god at the end. And the heroes were not really a part of the solving of the problem. Did a literal Deus Ex Machina in one of my stories. Apparently I do a lot of tropes. Tropes aren't always bad. There's a reason why. I mean, how many of us have said, I love MacGuffins, I love Chosen One stories, I love Only One Bed stories? I mean, there's a reason why we love them. There's a reason why they're written a lot. Not all of it is because it's just sloppy or lazy writing. some of it is, yeah, you can be, you can like something that there's a lot of. Nobody expects the rescuing French army. Thank you, Numbers Ninja. Yes, Deus Ex Machina is supposed to solve the problems, not cause them. Yes, these are unhelpful gods. That's okay, Preemie. I'm on board with your unhelpful gods. I just wouldn't call them Deus Ex Machina. Didn't Stephen King end The Shining with a literal hand of God coming down and stopping the bad guys? The Stand, yeah. Kind of. Yeah. I don't know. We'd have to unpack that, because there's a lot of spiritualism in the book. But the ending was more of the villains doing themselves in than the heroes pretty much doing anything. I was actually the first time I read that, I was very disappointed in the ending. It's like, so they showed up, made him mad, and then they all died. That'll show them. Anyway. Tropes are tools or spices. They can be used well or badly. Thank you, Kids Are Asleep. At about 90%, I realized my protagonist was failing to protag. That is one of the worst feelings. I'm so sorry, Meerkat. Nobody wants that. Oh. Anyway, what's next? Enemies to friends / lovers. Not my favorite. I don't like... I guess I have that feeling of, if somebody is unpleasant to you, and it's not just because they had a bad day, that's who they are. You know, was it... I can't remember who it was that said, if someone shows you who they are, believe them. Or, you know, like people go off and do a racist and get caught on video, and they're like, oh, that's not who I am. That's clearly who you are. Yeah, or even just incompatible people. I don't get that. I think about that with friends sometimes, because I don't know why Ross hangs out with those people. I'm not saying Ross is a good character or I like him. It's just that they make fun of his job all the time. Nobody respects his job. And he thinks he does the coolest thing in the world. Why would you hang out with people who make fun of your job all the time? Don't get it. Enemies to friends is better, because you can have some differences between friends that, you know, I'm close with many people that I definitely would never have dated when I was single. Just not, you know, you're a good friend, not compatible any other way, but good friend. So because he's in love with Rachel and the rest are a package deal. Well, yeah, and his sister's there, but still, you don't have to spend, like, who leaves their apartment and eats breakfast at somebody else's house? I don't get it. Now I'm just nitpicking. Sorry. A good enemies to friends / lovers has to properly address the issues that made them enemies in the first place. Yes, K. Kimmy. Kids Are Asleep says the trope works best if the foundation of antagonistic relationship involves ignorance or factions. That Kids Are Asleep, you're too brilliant. You gotta stop with the wisdom, because yeah. That's pretty amazing. Yeah. There's one of the best Star Wars books is by Claudia Gray, I think. Of course, I barely can remember her name, and I don't think I can remember the title of the book because I'm so good at this. Anyway, it's a YA book about two kids who grow up next to each other, and he joins the Resistance and she joins the Imperials, and then, like, it's sort of a spear carrier look at Star Wars, because neither of them are, like, on the front lines. My favorite part is the fact that she is the one tasked with going to rescue Darth Vader after his ship spins off into space. And, through her eyes, it's like, okay, we've got a very disciplined world here. And my friends are doing, just tech support on the Death Star. And they got blown up. So it's, their factions are what's keeping them apart. And that was really interesting. To build that love, that relationship. They're close as kids, and they go off in the different directions, and they meet again, and on. So, really recommend it. If I could just remember the name. Lost Stars! Thank you, Space Valkyries! Thank you so much. Lost Stars. It's really good. I just love that one. And I love... actually, is that on here? Doesn't look like it. I love the spear carrier stories. Like, I had the idea to do a story about someone who's in someone else's time loop. It's not, I don't know how to do that, but it's like, it's not their adventure in this time loop. It's just, it's focusing on somebody else and their adventure in the time loop, but everybody is still there going about their day as the time loop happens. So I'd love to do like someone becoming self-aware of somebody else's time loop. I think I thought of it when we were watching the movie on Friday, Numbers Ninja. 12 Dates of Christmas. Highly recommended. Very good time loop Christmas rom-com. Like The Baker and Groundhog Day, yeah. It reminds me of the movies where the protagonist thinks they're the chosen one and they aren't. Yes, I love that one. Life of Brian. Yes. Groundhog Day from the point of view of the groundhog. Well, now I have to admit that I've never seen Groundhog Day. I'm ashamed. It's true. Okay, so evil government's next. These days, I don't know who doesn't have an evil government in their story. Even if the government's not directly messing with things. Now we're at the free space. Disguise. See, going into like disguise, secret, or fake relationship and only one room or only one bed, that is like, that's a lot of romantic tropes for me. Are HOAs evil governments? They can be. Preemie says in fiction, also you work for one. Well done. Let me know when the revolution's coming. Or I guess when you cross the borders. What about the scythe world? Do the scythes count as a government? Well, the scythes have their own governing body. So those are the government. There's the, I can't remember the name of it. The big cloud computer is most of the government, and the rest of it is the people who oversee the scythes. The scythes that oversee the scythes. Scythes. Say it one more time, it's not going to mean anything. And then we got friends and lovers to enemies. Does that happen a lot? I don't know. Does the government agency that registers magical people count? I guess I have to ask how they register them. How well they register them. Or whether they're fair or... I don't know. Pirates with an exclamation point. Does that mean they're fun pirates? I may need a ruling on this. Kids are asleep. I am going way long on this. I'm sorry. Hope people are having fun. We're going to keep going. World-ending stakes. Ah, yes. The world-ending stakes are great. Because if people like the story, then you're going to have to write more. And then you got to threaten the world again next time. And then threaten the world again. And then finally it's like, oh, the world's in trouble. It's Thursday. Yeah, I've thought the progression of threats in Dragon Age and the Dragon Age series is interesting because the first one is a great demon has risen again, and we need to fight it or all will be lost, implying the world. The second one is, we got away from that big one demon about to eat everybody fight, and we're running to another city to live as refugees, and we have to save the city. It's a really, really good game and storytelling, but it always struck me as odd because it's just like mages and Templars fighting in the city. You're saving the city. But then you find out that this whole game is a prelude to the third game, where the Mage Templar fight that started in that city goes to threaten the world. So there's just like world, city, and then world again. That's so much planning. I don't know how they do it. Of course, they could be like, it's fairly easy to twist things and make it look like you meant to do that all along. But, yeah. Didn't Buffy do that? Yes, Buffy did that. I was thinking about that. Government registering magic users reminds me of the persecuted super people trope, which I guess Marvel is finally flipping the last few years with the Powers of X thing. What do we got next? Animal Companion. Yay, it's a fuzzy MacGuffin. We watched the first episode of Hawkeye last night. Animal Companion. Ah, yes, phased out. Terry Pratchett said, the end of the world may not be the end of the literal world. If you're a small tribe who doesn't know anything about the wider planet, the destruction of your home is world ending. Yes. Tree Lobsters definitely has an animal companion. We got Secret Buried History. And Hostile Flora. Wow. Is that a trope? Is that used often enough to be a trope, Kids Are Asleep? Because that's surprising. Wait, Matt's second Savage Legion book had Hostile Flora. Done Hostile Flora. Oh, history, yes, okay. Cryo and Magic Sleep. I've done that. We're at the end here. We got Time Travel. Always a good one. Hawkeye started must watch our favorite dumpster fire hero. Yeah, I didn't think I'd like it. I'm not a huge Avengers fan. I don't dislike them. I just never really got into the Avengers thing. And as Hawkeye is the worst Avenger, trash fire dude, it's like, why would I watch that? But I heard a lot of good things about it, so gave it a try last night. We got Heist, good in crime novels, also good with when connected to a MacGuffin. Often has of enemies to friends or lovers. I'm thinking of Barbra Streisand, that guy. It's got the 4 carpet bags that are identical. Big San Francisco chase scene. Why? Why can't I do this? I don't know. Anyway, it's a good movie. Betrayal. Feels like almost every story has to have some kind of betrayal. I talk about the garages because I'm just a ridiculous fangirl for it, but they take the concept of being encased in a peanut shell by a peanut god, which is one of the more ridiculous things that happens in Blaseball. And they turned it into a song about betrayal that rips your heart out. That's what the garages can do. Yeah, I don't know how they do it, but they do it. Betrayal is great. Kind of great. Narratively great. Yes, preemie. Child endangerment or like Home Alone. Oh, yeah. That's not on the list, but yeah, child endangerment. Sometimes kids' adventures movies has to have child endangerment because adventure is danger. And no nurturing parent in their right mind would let their kid go on an adventure. That's my biggest problem with the Pokemon stories, especially because, well, I'm a mother now. And it's like, okay, my son is 10 and I'm going to give him an animal and tell him to go wander the streets and have dog fights, essentially, with other strange people? I wouldn't do that to an adult. But yay, you're 10. Here we go. Come on, Bulbasaur, let's go dog fighting. And the last one is Antihero. I guess we're back to Hawkeye. Who had an antihero? And that's actually the list. Might have to talk to Summer on how to edit this, because this went longer and more talk with the chat than may be interesting to the feed listeners. But I'm going to be spending December thinking about the podcast and where I want to take it, including Ditch Diggers. And hopefully we'll reload or reboot season 18 next month with verve and veracity, and I'm not coming up with good words. One of the reasons why I'm taking a break from podcasting. But I'll be just trying to figure some stuff out. I've been doing this a long time. But yeah, going to be doing some changes to the show. Try to catch up with the transcriptions. Maybe I should figure out in my ADHD where the brain stops between me creating the content and me posting the relevant content. I've hired Summer to do the most of the work, and I'm still like falling down on the job of actually posting it. So I need to work through that and figure out what's going on there. There's going to be a couple of changes to the Patreon. Not many. If you are one of the people that comes by the Kick in the Pants workshops, there will be prompts coming out. I beg you to RSVP, because there's not been a lot of interest. And I know some people have been enjoying them, so I want to provide the prompt workshop for you. But yeah, I need to work something out there too. It's that problem of, it's not very popular, but the people it's popular with, it's really popular. So I'm not sure what to do about that. But, oh, by the way, I'm not ceasing streaming. I'm going to be streaming games or Ask Me Anythings. It's just going to be very chill and relaxed, and I'm going to try to figure out what the hell's going on with my new software setup. So I'll be around. You can come hang out with me. I just won't be doing I Should Be Writing. Anyway, you can support me via Patreon, or you can give money to a worthy charity. It is that time of year. But I'm available. You can support me on Ko-fi and Patreon, and I'm putting the stuff in the chat. And No, I'm not putting the stuff in the chat because this chat is broken. Ko-fi, it's ko-fi.com, I think, /MightyMur. And then patreon.com/MightyMur. And if you find me at Murverse.com, Twitter's MightyMur. I'm around. So, thank you all very much. And thank you, Numbers Ninja, for the moderation. And thank you to everybody who came and lurked, and anybody who has helped make my stream reinvigorate the podcast for me. I don't think I used that word right. I am reinvigorated regarding doing the podcast, because I know that it's going to be doing stuff and hanging out with you guys. The interactivity has really improved it a lot for me. It feels a lot less lonely. So I just want to thank you for being here and doing awesome stuff. And keep writing. You really can. I believe in you. No one can stop you but you. So I'll see you on Twitch more often. You can check my schedule on twitch.tv/MightyMur. Don't do it right now. It's not right. Or you can just follow me on Twitter and it'll post a go live whenever I go live. And that's it. Just happy holidays. Enjoy the rest of your Hanukkah. Enjoy the upcoming Christmas and Yule and Kwanzaa and New Year's. And just remember, keep writing. Just don't quit. You should be writing. I Should Be Writing is available to you under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Theme music by John Anelio. Art by Numbers Ninja. Production by Summer Brooks. And hosting by Libsyn. Find all of this information and more at Merverse.com. And remember, we can't do this without you. Thanks for your support.
I should be writing. I should be working on my craft. I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft. But I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who. Yeah, I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.